To change the ball bearings on a RC car, I call it the axle. I call it the axle holder. I can't figure out what their actual name is. You'll need a screwdriver bit, a screwdriver, and then a hexagon bit, 2.5 hexagon bit, and then it don't matter what size screwdriver bit. You need 2 ball bearings. Then you will need a 4-way lug nut, RC lug nut wrench right here. I'll take the biggest end open, unscrew that. By the time you get this off, you should be able to access your main frame of your axle holder. Changing this takes approximately, depending on how long it takes you to screw in these two screws right here, should take you about 5 minutes at the most. It takes a few times to get it right, but after you get it down, it's quick. First thing you want to do is take a screwdriver bit, and then you're going to put it in between this nut and the bolt, and you're going to hold that bolt down. You're going to push really hard. Well, let's see. Just push that off. This might take a few rips. First, that was a bad one. So, when that doesn't work, you take your 2.5 bit, take off of this screw. Now, I forgot to mention you need a 1.5 hexagon bit. That's simply for this, so you can take it off completely. Now you need a 2.0 instead of a 1.5. Sorry, messed up there. Take that bit off. Do this. Hold your axle because it's going to twist. Unscrew this. Once you get this screw out, make sure you set it off to the side where it's not going to roll away. And then this should just pop like that. It should hold like that, so you take your bit, keep doing this till it pops off. That should have this piece. There should be a pin about this size. This is the pin that pops out. Set that off to the side, and then you pull. This should just slide off. The axle did slide off. That is nothing to worry about. Most important part, other than the bearing. You just need. Yes, you need 2 bearings. One there, one on the back, and one on the front. Second most important thing right here. That's your spacer. You need that to space your bearing. That pin in the bearing. So after you got that out, you'll take your old bearings, set those off to the sides. Make sure you compare it to your new bearing. Make sure they're the exact same. Once you figure out that they're the same, take one, put it on. Well, if you can't get this out, just take a screwdriver bit or something and just should pop right out. This bearing's a harder one to pull. I'm actually going to take these pliers. Got that out. So this is a smaller bearing. Take my small bearing. Should just slide right in. Pops in like that. Oh, almost rolled away there. Should just click when they pop, you know they're in. Should spin. After you got that in, you want to take your axle right here, slide the part all the way through. Make sure it's not backwards like I just did it. Such an idiot when I do that. And then it should just pop right in. And where's my space? Then you take your spacer, put it over the top of that. Then you take your pin, slide it in. Take this part, make sure it's lined up with the pin evenly. Just slide that back on top. Make sure it's even again. So just click right on. And if it doesn't, take your screwdriver, push it toward it gets equal. That. If it doesn't go on easily, don't worry, it usually won't. I like to push like that, or take the screwdriver and just should pop on. There it goes. So when you heard it pop, so it's like this. Still recording. Do that. This, make sure you have the screw for that. It's right here. Make sure it goes in the front. Should just slide straight on there. Take 2.0 screwdriver and go for that. Now when it's on, make sure it's tight. And then it should just slide down here. Take your screw. Slide that in there. Should slide almost all the way back through. This is where I had trouble last time. Get my 2.5 bit and start getting that in. May have to use a lot of force because this is one of the harder parts to screw in. And you take your wheel along with your lug nut. Go ahead and put that back on just like you took it off. Basically, all you're doing is taking everything off, taking out the old bearings, putting in new ones, and then putting it all back together. So doing everything backwards then. Take your 4-way and go spin it as tight as you can by like this with the 4-way. And once you've done that, take your pliers and your 4-way and you clamp those together like that. And you'll just keep twisting until eventually it tightens. Or if you want to just really tight, make sure you can't get it off really easily with no force almost. Okay. then that is done.